God, I gotta be louder. I'm so tired.
I'll poke you.
You can be in it, right? Today's video, I have the opportunity to play with the Mavic Mini and the Mavic Air 2, which is mine. This is Jonathan Buckhouse, and this is his Mavic Mini. I have seen this drone before, and I thought to myself, now that he's got one, I could fly it myself and tell you guys if the Mavic Mini is actually worth buying over the Mavic Air 2 as your first drone.
Now I have a couple days to return this, so let's figure this out.
That footage you just saw was from the Mavic Air 2. That was set at 1080p with HDR mode on and 30 frames a second. The HDR mode works killer whenever clouds are out in the sky like they are right now. None of that footage was edited in post-processing. That means I didn't color grade it, I didn't tweak anything. That is the way it came right off the SD card, right out of the drone. What I really want to do is show you how not only the Flones drive not drive.
The Flones?
Yeah, the Flones drive.
What is a Flone?
What I really want to do is show you guys how the drones fly differently and how the video looks side by side. So we're just doing a couple passes here over this lake. Yeah, I know, me and water, right? Whoa, you have no sensors, be careful. There's a huge price difference between these two drones. I think the Mavic Mini starts at about $350 and the Mavic Air's give or take $70.99 or something. Whoa.
I'm a professional pilot.
He's never flown a drone till today. He hasn't flown a drone since the Phantom 3 Advanced.
Phantom
you got the professional?
The
professional, because he's a professional.
I'm a professional drone pilot.
That's what people think when they buy the professional model. So with the Mavic Mini, you don't have the front-facing sensors or the rear sensors that the Mavic Air has. The Air is a little louder, it sounds like, than the Mini. You have totally different controllers. The new Air controller actually is really nice, it fits great in the hand. Yeah. And the Mini is basically the old Mavic Pro design, just without all the extra doodads and bells and whistles. Now the Fly app has recently been updated by DJI, and I am using that, so that changes a few things that I'm gonna make a standalone video about. So if you do have the Mavic Air 2 or the Mini, you can actually now change your gimbal settings as well as the battery icon that shows you how much battery you have left before you need to come home or return to home kicks in has changed. If you do want to know more about that kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe and click that little bell icon so you don't miss it in the next video. So what so far are your opinions on the Mini as you being sort of getting more into drones just a little bit every time you do it?
To me, it feels more like a toy. The Phantom 3 Professional is such a tank, such a beastly drone that I could fly it in the middle of a snowstorm. Now the Mini on a calm day like this flies great, but I've taken it up a couple times in the wind and it's just like, I swear I think I'm gonna lose it, or like the wind pushes it into the water and I'm like, ah!
And I've told him he will lose it in the wind if he's not careful. As any of you who've been here for any time, when Ed Ricker came up here with Kelly and we took it up in the wind and it was just gone.
More along the lines of risk it for the biscuit.
It depends. There's a mileage. There's a certain mileage that it's no longer risking it for the biscuit. It's just like, goodbye, drone. Okay, you're gonna... I'm gonna fly his now, and we're gonna show that footage right now. A couple of things I'm noticing right off the bat is it doesn't have HDR mode, it doesn't do 4K. So if that kind of stuff's important to you, then again, the Air 2 is gonna have a lot more options. But if you're just wetting your feet, like I said, 1080 is plenty if you're using it for like personal use in YouTube and things like that. Jonathan and I have talked about the 4K 1080 a lot, and him and I actually both agree that for our use with YouTube, 1080 is more than sufficient, because like 80% of you guys out there watch these videos on YouTube on your phone. And you can pretend all day long that 4K makes a big difference on your phone, but it really, truly doesn't. It doesn't go up nearly as fast. I mean, it goes up, but it's not like woo. So everything is a little less responsive control-wise. But the picture looks pretty damn good for not having HDR on. So it's Wi-Fi. Unlike the Air 2, which is OcuSync 2.0, you're gonna see little bits of skipping and breakup here and there on the picture. We're not recording the screen, so I can't show you guys the little bit of stutter that I get in this compared to the Air 2. All right, let's go ahead and bring it down. So this isn't something you should do on the regular. It does. Okay, but that's not something you want to do on the regular. That's more of an emergency thing, but it is cool to know that the Mini does have that feature. You want to be careful with it, because even if you do it, you want to do it smoothly, because you don't want to cause any gimbal damage by, you know, being rough with your drone and being all jerky-worky. It's tons lighter feeling than the Mavic Air 2. You notice things like the SD card reader doesn't have a cover over it, and the propellers are actually screwed in and they're not quick release. I understand why Jonathan says it feels toy-like, because it really does feel so light that it makes it feel like a toy. That is how they got it under the 250 grams, which means technically if you're in the US, you do not have to send the FAA any money to register this.
And I didn't.
For those of you who are wanting to take that first step into dronedom, this is a solid entry-level drone that has a great camera on it. Just remember, it does not have sensors, so you have to manually fly this and be aware of where you are at all times. So it's just like all the other DJI drones, double tap and hold. I want to talk to you about my final thoughts about the Mavic Mini and the Mavic Air 2. It's a little loud right now, so let's talk right up here. And if you haven't already subscribed to my new channel, The World of Nature, it's all kinds of footage only of stuff like what you see behind me. Just nice nature sounds, moving water, streams all over Colorado, peaceful moments to help you like have a little bit of zen, a little bit of a getaway from your day-to-day. The link is in the description below, and everybody who's interested in that, I appreciate you going over there, checking it out, and hopefully subscribing. So my final thoughts about the Mavic Mini versus the Mavic Air 2. And this is just to sum it up quickly. So if you're wanting to know more information about the Mavic Mini versus the Mavic Air 2, I'm gonna have to buy a Mavic Mini and really put some time in with it. But these are my first impressions, hands-on, really getting to fly it myself compared to flying the Mavic Air 2, as well as all the other DJI line drones that I do have and have flown in the past. If you have the money, I would all day long get the Mavic Air 2 over the Mavic Mini. Now, does that mean the Mavic Mini sucks? No, not at all. It's not a bad product to get into this hobby. However, if you really think you're gonna get into it from there, your best bet is to save the money and just go ahead and get the Mavic Air 2, because it just flies better. It's got more options, more you can do with it, and overall is the better drone of the two. Absolutely never gets old how much beauty is just everywhere down the block from my house. Absolutely love this place. It's the ultimate place to do things like this with the drones and the electric skateboards and that kind of stuff. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this kind of content. I know this video store all over the place, but I really wanted to take this opportunity when I was out with my buddy, just flying for fun, to share some thoughts about that Mavic Mini and the Mavic Air 2. If you want to know more, let me know in the comments below, and we'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll pick up a Mavic Mini and do a few videos with it and have a contest and give it away, because I can't see myself flying that drone on a regular basis when I have all the other ones that I have. Not that it's bad, it's just not as good. Does that make sense? Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and if so, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if not, then why the hell did you say this long in the video anyways? And until next time, we'll see you all on the next one. Let's do the same pass that I did with the other drone over the lake and back. Fingers crossed I don't screw this up. Ooh.
I was gonna say, you want me to give you some shout outs when you're about to smash a tree? I need this drone, so he better not screw up.
Well, you know, if it's anything like Art, he got an upgraded drone, so you would get something upgraded, you know? So yeah, you might be like, screw it up, Sean, screw it up. You're still here? You want to know more about the electric skateboards? Well, then make sure you've subscribed, because I'm going to be doing more videos talking about both of these skateboards, and I actually have more on the way.